I think I'm live. Not quite sure though. I think I'm live, not 100% certain, however. Man, what is going on with Coinigy lately and the right day on their charts? There we go. All right, can you guys hear me? Am I finally live? Man. Oh, sorry about that. Definitely unexpected. Don't want to put out a live stream and then, you know, the streaming sucks. It's not much of a live stream. It's much of a live me troubleshooting stream. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Does anyone else have this problem with Coinigy on the right side of the chart here where, boom, there's like nothing. Like there's nothing there. I'll refresh this. You've seen this a couple of times now. And that right candle looks good now, but it goes flat like after the next time it ticks. Not sure what's going on with Coinigy there. So, yeah, I have no idea. On the lower term time frames, it seems to work okay and give you some... Yep, there you go. See, it moved and it just went flat. All right. A little bit of a rant there. 2 tracks of audio. I only have one audio capture device going. Not sure. I'm going to mute it. Tell me if you can hear me. I just muted it. Probably didn't hear me. Yeah, unfortunately, TradingView with GDAX volume is horrible. It's not accurate. I'd rather have this and deal with a little bit of inconsistency than have just completely inaccurate volume. Like on TradingView, this volume is huge and this volume is small. It's completely backwards. So, all right. So, someone mentioned up here earlier, looks like Johnny B. Why are there so many sell orders there? If anyone really believes that Bitcoin will reach 25K, then why sell for 11K? So that's a very good question, Johnny. It's a very good question. And no one has the answer to that. If people want to sell something, they want to sell something. And first of all, I never trade off of an order book. I will use an order book if I'm taking a position to see what is actively being traded. But just because you see a big sell wall doesn't mean that sell wall is going to stay there. Those are people put those orders out there to scare people to do what they want them to do. So maybe say you're a whale with 100,000 Bitcoin, you put up a 5,000 Bitcoin sell wall, and you want to accumulate Bitcoin. Well, people are going to start selling it as it gets closer to that sell wall because they're scared of that sell wall. So they will actually buy when they have this order out there to sell. So it's not necessarily, it doesn't mean anything specifically when you see those sell walls. The thing that's actually a little more concerning for me, to be quite frank with you, and I've recorded a video but I haven't posted it yet, is the fact that we're crossing a couple of points of what should be breakout areas, and we don't have the volume to support breakouts. That is more concerning to me than any kind of selling at this particular point in time. We've seen sellers be very active over 11,000, creating the top over here, and we're not seeing that over here. We've been up here for 3 days now. I mean, so people don't mind 11,000, but they're not excited about buying it. Now, keep in mind, you and me may want the breakout. We want the breakout, guys. You don't want to buy at 11,000. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourselves. You don't want to buy Bitcoin at 11,000. You want to buy Bitcoin at 11,000 if it goes to 18,000. That's why you want to buy Bitcoin. If you think Bitcoin's going to 6,000, how many hands here are people still wanting to buy if you knew the next move in Bitcoin was 6,000? I think there's about a 10 or 12 second delay on the stream between chat and everything. So, but I don't see any hands. I don't see any hands. Nobody wants to buy Bitcoin. You know, nobody wants to buy Bitcoin expecting it to go to 6,000. If you think it's going to 6,000, just wait till it hits 6,000. Okay? Yeah, you're buying it here. Okay. So Igor's buying it. Yashu's buying it. So if you're buying it here, then do you have money left to buy? Then just buy it. If you guys want Bitcoin, look, it's not. no offense to any of you out there, maybe this is incorrect. Maybe this is incorrect, but if you have cash on the sidelines and you're willing to buy Bitcoin now, if it's going to go down, just buy it now. Why would you wait for anything? There'd be no waiting involved. You're buying with anticipation of a immediate price increase. Of an immediate price increase. Nobody wants to buy Bitcoin and watch it go against them immediately. That's, I mean, unless you're a cutter. If you're a cutter, then I could see that. I could see that. Okay. So that being said, the fact that we're rising on lower volume isn't really problematic. The rise in low volume here doesn't kill this chart pattern, doesn't it doesn't make it as strong. The fact that's bothering me right now, to be quite frank with you, is that we're in breakout territory. This is the territory where breakouts should start to occur. They should start to occur. Okay? Now I know we're not quite up to this high. This high over here is 11,775. Now that's a very true breakout point, but there's early breakout areas, and typically you see a flurry of buying before the actual breakout point. That's very typical in a lot of trading, and we're not seeing that right now, which is kind of frustrating, to be quite frank with you. Very, very, very frustrating. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. I need to get my glasses. I can't see the chats on the other side of the screen. Hold on for 2 seconds. All right. Real crypto's blind, apparently. Real crypto's blind. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. So Adam has a guy that's telling him to not buy until 11.7, and it close on it. There will be a good chance it will go to 14,000. Okay. Adam's got a guy. That's cool. Dallas bought at 15,000. Johnny bought at 11.4. Where would I recommend set your stop loss? That's a tough one, Johnny. See, this whole run here, if you go down to the smaller term time frame, there's not like a great place for stop losses right now, to be quite frank with you. Maybe this 50-period moving average if you want to give it a little bit of space. But the fact is, we could still form a handle up here, okay? Now, we're actually losing momentum. If you guys notice, we're actually losing momentum. We have... I'll go away. Why are you doing that? Okay, so we've got kind of this trend line coming up here. Okay. Now, a lot of people are calling this a rising wedge, and it is a rising wedge pattern. It's actually been kind of negated, though, if you call that the rising wedge. If you're adjusting your wedge here, I guess that's okay. But we're losing momentum here at the top. You can see we actually now have little smaller tops. The rises are getting smaller. The sideways action, actually they're getting very, very sideways. So this is either going to, big breakout or a big breakdown. And we could form a handle here of some kind. That would be pretty good if we could form a handle. But again, if you're trying to set a stop, if you already have a position, the question is, where do you set your stop? That's a loaded question because the pattern hasn't broken out yet. Okay? Like I posted a tweet earlier, said, hey, it looks like we're breaking out. We need volume. We never really got the breakout volume. So it's basically just been rising. It's just been continuing the trend. There's been no breakout yet. Reading some comments here. If Bitcoin is at a good breakout point, why is the volume so low? Sean asks. So, Sean, 2 reasons. Number 1, no one's interested and wants to buy. Or 2, we're not at the breakout point yet. Or 3, we're going to form a handle and then break out from that. No one knows exactly. Technical analysis isn't about predicting the future. It isn't about knowing what's going to happen next. It's about kind of reading the room. It's like you're at a party and you're kind of reading the room, like where do you want to be, It's like a comedian knowing your audience. You kind of have to know what's going on. You don't know exactly what they want. You don't know exactly what's going to happen, but you kind of know what direction to go in. And so right now, without volume, we really don't have a direction. We're just kind of continuing the trend. There's been no reversal yet. Trading Bitcoin, sometimes long, sometimes short. Right now flat. Hamant's bearish based off of the 2013 run. Is this foolish? It is not foolish, Hamant. I talked about that a couple of videos ago. If we don't get over this high over here, if we don't get over this high, we have a very good chance of that 2013 scenario playing out. However, it doesn't necessarily doesn't mean it's going to happen. I mean, markets kind of rhyme a little bit. You know, they don't mirror each other, though. It's not a one-to-one relationship. Okay, that's an interesting question. Can any market survive long term with no new influx of capital or new investors? That's a good question, Christian. Can any market survive a long term with no new influx of capital or new investors? Not really. Then it's basically a closed ecosystem. I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any stretch of the imagination, but when you think of the capital markets, it's pretty much like a Ponzi scheme. Okay, it's pretty much like a Ponzi scheme. You need new investor money to come in. Even if old investor money is locked in the old investments, you need new money to come in to kind of pump things up, and then it inflates the whole boat. That's the whole thing with market cap. There's a misconception about market cap that, you know, if market cap drops by 10 billion, then 10 billion was withdrawn from the markets. That's not correct. It can take a very small amount of capital to move markets, and so yes, you do need new capital. Okay. Hey, Real Crypto, have you noticed people pushing social justice feminism in the crypto sphere? I don't know. I've noticed people being assholes in the crypto sphere. I don't know about social justice feminism. People push asshole every day. I don't mind if somebody wants to get ahead. Been sitting here waiting to buy all day through Coinbase, but wondering if I should just wire to GDAX. Wire to GDAX. Can you wire to GDAX? I've never done that before, Ian. Look, man, if you want to buy on Coinbase, just go ahead and buy on Coinbase, or you can go ahead to one of those like a local Bitcoins and buy from an individual, and you'll get your money instantly. You'll pay a little bit more, but Randy, could you look at NEO, please? What FUD today and a big breakdown in ET on where it might bottom out, so sell and wait. It's a long-term hold. Well, the short answer, Johnny, if it's a long-term hold, then who cares what the technical analysis is, to be quite frank with you. I mean, really, just to keep it real, if it's a long-term hold, who cares? So I will take a look at NEO, though. Let's go to Binance. Okay, so looks like I've been here before. Looks like kind of have a head and shoulders with a target all the way down here at the 66 whatever Satoshi level. So yeah, it's funny. I was on what's the plat? BitMEX. I was on BitMEX. I was thinking about shorting NEO, and I'm like, nah, I didn't short NEO. It was actually above here. I think it was like right here. I guess I should have done that. That would have been a pretty good trade. You're up 7,000%. So what's happening? You know what? It's trading, ladies and gentlemen. People take profits. It's profit taking and panic selling. You know, it's profit taking and panic selling, and that's pretty much what makes these big wild swings in tops in cryptocurrencies. So, you know, you have tops or you have people selling up here, or people not willing to buy. Either one can cause tops. In cryptos, it's generally lack of a willingness to buy than it is actually selling at tops. From what I've noticed, it's kind of inverse to the stock market. But generally, when you see a nice topping area like this, there's actually kind of like a big rectangle. I usually don't draw rectangles, but it's kind of like a big rectangle right here. Whoops, that went too far. There we go. It's kind of a big rectangle right here of price action, and we broke down. So this definitely can be interpreted with much more downside action. But if it's a long-term hold, then you probably don't care about that. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Can you compare this to 2017 November timeline? It looks similar to me. It's nothing like that, Arthur. Nothing like that. The difference between November and today is that November was late in an uptrend. There was a prior uptrend, okay? We don't necessarily have that kind of a prior, I guess we do have a bit of an uptrend. Maybe we do have a little bit. Maybe I spoke a little bit too soon there. Yeah, this space does look a little bit similar. Let me see here. So I kind of some spike volume lows at the bottom. Yeah, maybe we float up and kind of go sideways. I guess if that's what you're getting at, if we kind of play out this kind of pattern over here, yeah, I guess generally that definitely could be true. The main difference though is that we're living under this monolithic structure, this monolithic, head and shoulders pattern, and while we could be reversing, it's a different market than over here. There's a lot more trepidation here than there is over here. There's a big, I mean, you're still in a big bull cycle here. You got to keep that in mind. You're still in a really big bull cycle here. We are not in a big bull cycle. We're technically still in the bear market. But overall, could the pattern play out similarly? Yeah, it could. It could definitely play out like that. You do see low volume here comparatively, right? You see here, it comes up to the old high, goes sideways, and volume really starts to flatten out. Really flattens out. And then, maybe we're doing something similar here where we're going to get a nice, tight sideways action. That definitely could play out. All right. If volume is down, Coinbase app downloads are on a steep decline. Who's buying to drive price? Who is buying, you're saying? Retail investors, like everyone here. Pretty much retail investors. Most whales, I mean, maybe they're nibbling, but they're probably not doing a whole lot right here. Whales, you can typically see their footprints, and it's very apparent. Whale footprints are very apparent. Organize a pump on Bitcoin to get us over 12K. Yeah, usually doesn't really work out that well, Paul. Anytime you guys like organize a pump, there's always someone left to dump. All right, didn't I just do Neo? Yeah, I just did Neo. Lost momentum, low volume. Do you think retracing happens soon? If retracing, what's a strong support? Yeah, we could get some retracement. That could put us in for... That's some good luck here with GDAX volume. There's some decent support down here. You're going to have kind of this... There's a couple of levels here that kind of provided some support. I mean, any of these lows will work. So this is kind of 11.1. This one down here is 10.8. This one down here is kind of around the 10.3, 10.4 area. Any of these areas could provide you with some pretty good support if we break to the downside. There's no specific levels, though, to look at. It's all guesswork at this point. You can try to predict, but all these highs and lows are so closely tied. I mean, if you want to look for correlation, really right here, this 11.065, where if you look at my cursor here, both of those high and low prints actually touch this level, 11.041 it looks like. So, I'm not saying it gets down to here, but if you're looking for like, if you're a support and resistance trader, right there you've got, bam, a hit there, a little rest there before a breakout, then a retest here. I mean, definitely could come down and see some support there. I don't know if that's necessarily the most support in this whole overall pattern, but we do have a base around this area, a touch down, and a touch to the upside. So, maybe a breakdown to here would be pretty good, and then we bounce off. It's hard to say exactly. Neo, please. We did Neo. Can you check Ethereum? Yes, I can. Let's check Ethereum. Looks good. All right. So Ethereum right now stuck in a crazy tight range, guys. This is awesome. I actually don't have a position in Ethereum. I really need to put a trading plan together for this, though. So Ethereum broke its declining trend line, trading in an extraordinarily narrow range now, and volume is declining further and further, pretty much all the time. Last time we saw volume of this level, if you look at my cursor here, was back before November, right about here. I mean, look at how really tight that is. Look at how low that volume is. And we didn't really break out after that, but it did precede it did proceed a breakout, right? This is the larger run up from earlier in the year. And I did a video called "Don't Forget About Ethereum," and after I did that video, it just really popped up. I thought maybe get to like 800, 1,000. Went way past that. One thing about crypto is they always go a lot farther than you think they can. So nice tight sideways action here. We had a fake out in the markets. We came right back to that equilibrium point, and then we just continued higher. So something similar may happen here. But breaking this level is kind of the first stage. I don't know if we have much more downside in Ethereum. However, obviously, if Bitcoin fails to break out to the upside, then most everything's probably going to fail as well. There's always an a-hole, so what? Let us concentrate on the nice mouths. Very true, Bogue. Maybe I should. Are you talking about me cursing there, or just everyone else? People already saying women are being excluded from crypto. Ridiculous. It's an open market. Oh, so Paul's saying he's seen it. Ian, what's up, buddy? Thank you very much. Got a super chat. If you guys do like my content, you can tip me through a super chat. Ian just did that. Thanks, Ian. Did you post a comment? I didn't see you. Am I living up here? Oh, we got a lot of comments to go through. A lot of comments to go through. Okay, let's get down here. Randy is awesome, thanks. You are welcome. You're welcome that I'm awesome. XLM. Actually, that's a very good crypto. XLM. Let's go look at that one. Ooh, Daddy no like. So this is an interesting case right here. Let's take a look at this technically. So let's zoom out. Let's zoom out and check out XLM. And you can just wish that you bought on the bottom left side of that chart. Can you tip me in crypto, Jesse asks. Yes, you can. If you look in the description, I've got an Ethereum address and I have a Bitcoin address. That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so XLM is very interesting here. This is all gobbledygook. And I pointed this out, I think, once. I don't talk too much about altcoins, mainly because Bitcoin is really putting a damper on the market. So I'm really trying to focus people there. And I don't want them getting caught up in this altcoin market because it can be very volatile. And as you can see, there's a lot of fake outs and breakouts. Or I should say fake outs and shakeouts. There's a lot of fake outs happening. Big symmetrical triangle failed pretty badly to the downside, although volume didn't confirm at all. But we had a sideways consolidation. Actually, it looks like we finished a measured move to the downside, and then we bounced right up to this channel. Look at that. We bounced right up into that channel and just failed again. Just literally failed. This is very bad selling. This is very bad selling. Now, compared to over here where all this trading was occurring, it's not bad at all. I mean, oh, there's a news article right here. There we go. Very, very, very low volume comparatively to all time, but it doesn't mean that it can't tank the coin. Okay, at some point this will be bought up again, but obviously that's not today. You really want to wait for some bottoming action, something, but we're not getting that here. Yeah, very, very bad action failing right there. Failing at that level just tells you there's more selling to be had. Literally, that's like screaming at you, hey, we're going to sell some more. I mean, just really, quite frankly. XVG, should I sell? Francisco asks. I wouldn't be buying. I don't know if you want to sell. Those are so hard. Those are very hard to ask because I really don't like to cause harm in the crypto space. My job is to try to save your money. You know, in the end, though, all I'll say is this: know when to take a loss. If you take a 50% loss, let's do this exercise. So 3,000. So say you got in at 6,000 sats. Say you got in up here. Ooh, that sucks. You know, if you're down 50%, you need a double. You need a double to get back to where you were. Okay, and that can be really difficult. If you're down like 90%, you need a 1,000% return in order to get back to break even. You guys have to set stop losses at some point, and if it breaks a certain predetermined level, usually under 10%, somewhere between 7 to 8% is my typical max stop loss. You just have to get out regardless of what the particular coin or trade is doing. So, okay, had some interesting. So there's Ian XLM with this cool super chat. Thank you, Ian. Money's all in Ethereum. Why do we get such vicious dumps in crypto? If you want to sell, place a limit order, don't dump 100 BTC in one shot and then dump the price 2K. Well, Johnny B, that's very, you know, you can't question other people's motives. You can only judge their actions, I guess, okay? You can really only judge their actions. And that's quite literally true in the crypto space because you have no idea the motives behind any of this. You have no idea behind any of these motives. And one thing that the charts tell you is the general consensus of the crowd trading the market. So you really have to, you know, listen closely. And who cares why they're doing what they're doing? You just have to know what they're doing. And that's what technical analysis gives you. It kind of gives you that, you know, that's your ear. That's your ear to the crypto space. What do you think about Litecoin as a new Bitcoin? Well, there's never going to be another Bitcoin. The same way there's never going to be another iPod. Okay? Quite literally, they stopped making them. But, you know, the Zune came out. It was way better than the iPod, but the iPod already had brand recognition. When the Zune came out, it was viewed as a copier. And what is a software company doing, you know, making hardware? And even though it was better by pretty much every conceivable measure, it didn't take off and it failed. So you have to respect the first to market and you have to respect the market cap. You know, Bitcoin can be upgraded and it looks like they're in the middle of, you know, making some improvements. So no, Litecoin cannot be a new Bitcoin. What do I honestly think about Bitcoin at the end of the year? I'm going to answer your question very specifically. What do you honestly think Bitcoin will be at by the end of the year? Oh, I missed the at. I was going to say it's going to be around. I don't have a price target for the end of the year, guys. Let's keep this in mind. For those of you that have been here for over 4 months, who ever thought we would have ever seen 20,000 Bitcoin? Nobody was calling for 20,000 Bitcoin. I don't think anybody was. Maybe John McAfee was, but he's nuts. So no one really listened to him. But I have no idea, to be quite frank with you. I think the market right now we're at a treacherous point right now, and I don't say that to scare you. I say that because it is. It's a kind of a treacherous point. We're at a point in the market cycle. If you go back to the daily chart on Bitcoin, you know, we have to make it or we're not. I mean, we're basically at the edge of a cliff. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I can't think of another way to say that metaphorically. We're at a precipice. It's either going to break up and we're going to continue, or it's probably going to roll over and go sideways and die. Because if no one takes the initiative to make this breakout happen, if no whale wants to buy this, if no whale sees value in here for whatever reason, you know, retail investors like us, we do not have enough cumulative buying power to make that happen, let alone make it happen in a sustained fashion. All right, so let's see what we got here. I wanted to invest as a long-term hold, but I cannot start in November 2017. Cannot ignore the news and potential bear market thoughts. Yeah, Johnny B. Investing for the long term, but you're worried about short-term trading perspectives. My advice to you, Johnny B, is you may be trading with too much money. Okay? Typically, if you want to have a long-term perspective and you're really worried about short-term price movements, then you don't have a long-term perspective. I'm not saying that to be insulting. I'm saying that from a strictly psychological standpoint. That's generally what happens. If you have a preconceived notion, but you instantly say something negating that notion, then it's a false notion, and you should revisit why you're investing, and you should make plans accordingly. Okay, so if you want to invest for the long term, then go ahead and do that. But you have to be okay with downdrafts. Okay, you have to be okay with downdrafts. No matter what, even if it's directly after you invest. Otherwise, you can change your trading strategy and say, look, and this is kind of where I come into play. You could say this, look, I don't want to be a long-term investor. I want to ride a big run-up like this. That's being honest. Okay, that's being honest with yourself. If you want to run up the next parabolic move, then that's a perfectly fine trading strategy. That's not you being greedy. That's you being realistic, and you can form a trading strategy based around that narrative. But by you saying I want to be a long-term investor, but worried about immediate price action, that those don't mesh. So figure out exactly what you want to do, and then you can go ahead and make a plan according to that. Off topic, but who here agrees cannabis is medicine? Sure, cannabis is medicine. Everything's medicine. It's actually not technically. It's been proven that hugs are medicine. It's been proven that petting dogs is medicine. It helps your body. It releases chemicals and produces well-being things. And it's a fact that people that are happy live longer. So everything's medicine. Everything's medicine. What exactly is long-term in crypto? Good question, Oliver. How you doing, Oliver? I recognize you. How you doing, buddy? Bitcoin will make an XYZ correction. Failed wave 5. 11.8 bull trap. Could be. Could be. TRX, please. Oh, the garbage that is TRX. Man, that thing just decided to say, yeah, let's run. No, we're not going to do that. Yeah. So looking at daily of TRX here, this is a troubled coin. It's making lower highs. Honestly, this looks like something to me that at some point, this kind of looks like EOS. And this really, now that I say that, let's do this. Let's go to EOS. I think it's EOS. Let me see if I'm thinking about the correct coin. It was EOS dollar. Hold on, bear with me as I find this. Yeah, here we go. This kind of reminds me a little bit of EOS. Okay? Kind of reminds me a little bit of EOS. You have EOS here making this big, nice, flat thing. And then it just does that. It just continues lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. Which dip are you going to buy? Which dip are you going to buy, ladies and gentlemen? There you go. You wonder why I don't buy lows. You wonder why Real Crypto likes to buy breakouts. You wonder why I don't buy lows. Because of EOS. Not specifically, but generally this exact price pattern. And that really reminds me of EOS. I can't say exactly why, because it didn't have the same pattern, but you see here, it came down, started making higher highs here, or lower highs, and then just dumped. Just dumped. So, and this is the other thing about EOS. If you ever listen to someone that knows something about EOS, they think it's a decent project. They think it's a good project, but it never got off the ground. And I think now it's way up, but I don't know. Let me see. Let's get some perspective here. There we go. Yeah, now it's way up, but this is the bull market really late in the year. So if this does remind me of Tron, maybe it will do this. Maybe it's going to give us a 3,000% gain. And if you want to buy it here, maybe you get a 1,100% gain. The question is, do you want to hold it through another 50% downdraft move? That's a question you have to answer. I generally don't do that. I don't want to have my capital at risk for something like that. But Tron reminds me of EOS in the fact that it is a platform coin. It is a coin that has had a nice price appreciation, now has had a really deep pullback, and it's just sold off at every single opportunity. And at some point, it will do something and go on a massive run. That's kind of what Tron reminds me of. So, Tron is on my watch list. I do look at it, but I look at it in those terms. Okay. Oh, someone wants to look at EOS in the immediate term. Let's take a look. I didn't think of it in those terms. Let's look at EOS. So what's EOS doing? Wow. EOS looks like it wants to go back down to its all-time lows. I don't think it's going to do that, but this looks like a big head and shoulders pattern, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Big head and shoulders pattern. Shoulder, head, shoulder, and a big dump to the downside. Not saying it's going to happen, but keep this in mind too. Keep this in mind too. I'm not even sure if that's the valid neckline. Avenge Voltaire asking you guys to hit the like button. I always forget to do that. He's always in here pumping that like button. I would appreciate it if you did, and so would Avenge Voltaire. High five, Avenge. Thank you, sir. I always appreciate you thinking about the health of the stream and the channel. Long time no see, buddy. How are you? So maybe that's a more valid neckline. A little exactly hard to say, but if you take this to its ultimate conclusion, you're going from, you know, let's call it 17 down to 8. So you would anticipate a $9 downside movement. Don't quite think that's going to happen. Don't quite think that's going to happen. But it is a big head and shoulders pattern. If you have this, you got to have a stop loss near, I think, 7.5 personally. But I don't get involved in coins living at lows. Okay, so let me get rid of those. Bam. All right, back to Bitcoin. Did you guys make it break out yet? I want it to break out so I can make happy videos and I get more views. Ven. Very good, Ven. I have you on my Binance happy list. I was really liking Ven and I haven't looked at it for a while, and I'm glad because I don't like it anymore. So this is the reason why. Ven was putting in a very nice little pattern here. Very nice little pattern, and it looks like it just crapped it. 200 period moving average on the day. I'm sorry, this is the 50 period moving average on the daily. Just cracked it on a really high volume. That's not very good. So Khan says, I look back at Bitcoin history, counted 4 parabolic runs. They all took months, years for capitulation volume bar to happen. Since the latest pullback, no capitulation bar yet. Safe to assume Bitcoin likely to go down. Very interesting, Khan. I've counted 3 parabolic runs. If there's a very early one that isn't in these charts, I'll definitely give that one to you. And I agree with your sentiment regarding the Bitcoin and the parabolic moves taking time to wear off. You're 100% correct about that. They all take time to wear off. And like I was just talking about a little bit ago, if we don't get over this high here, you know, if we don't get over this high, obviously that means there's no breakout, right? Which means you're not buying anyways. But we run the risk of doing the long rollover. And you've actually seen that long rollover time and time again. You've seen it in 2013. So let's go look at that. For those of you that haven't seen that. So keep this pattern in mind. Okay, keep this pattern in mind right here. Actually, I think I'll probably just duplicate this. So keep that pattern in mind. We're going to go back in time, if my computer will let me, and look at this pattern here. So time and time again, you see these patterns like this. You see a big parabolic run, a huge drop, then you see a big bounce, and then you see a big bounce, and you see a rollover. Now here we get another big, so here's your big bounce actually, and then here's your rollover. You see this time and time again, time and time again. Now this one actually was very short, actually already did ETH informed. It's very tight trading range, and it's got to break out. So this one actually came up, formed a big cup with handle, and then actually, you know, failed that and then continued to break out. But this one popped up here, had a cup with handle that was never broken to the upside, and it just slowly failed. And I think you can find a NASDAQ 1999 chart does that too. NASDAQ. Ooh, you know what? You know what, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to pull up let me do this on another screen and give you guys something to look at here. Give me a minute. I'm going to pull up my my webinar that I did about market cycles. That has a lot of market tops in it. A lot of market tops. All right, come on, hurry up. My Mindset of a trader, market cycles. Here we go. Okay, so here's my market cycles webinar. And down here is a ton of charts. So I don't have to go looking them up. There we go. Okay. So here's a 2001 tech bubble. I don't know if this is the NASDAQ. I think this is the NASDAQ. But this one came down, had a big, nice bounce, and then just rolled over. You've got the 2007 financial crisis. Something similar, had a big bounce up, formed a cup with handle. This is very mal-shaped, however. This is not a valid cup with handle and rolled over. You've got the 2013 bubble, which came up and just rolled over. You've got 2013 part 2, which bounced up, rolled over. Is that part 2? Are those the right ones? Yeah, I guess they're the right ones. 1990 Japan, this particular one didn't really bounce a whole lot, but it had a little choppy action, then rolled over. You got the 2011 gold market, which did something similar, bounced up, failed to get over a price level, and rolled over. So you see in all these kinds of big market tops, except for the 2008 oil, that thing never did anything. I remember that, and oh my goodness, I wish I could have shorted that market. 2008 Euro, USD, it's a little bit of a different kind of a market. What are we doing here? Yeah, different kind of a market. It's actual currency, so it never really can go too low. And this is actually NASDAQ of today. So, you know, it can do that. You know, price has a history of doing that, coming up to a prior support level and just generally failing. It definitely can happen. I'm not placing bets for that to happen. I'm actually anticipating a bullish move, mainly because that's what everyone wants to happen. I want that to happen, so I'm going to be prepared for that particular outcome. Okay, I'm going to be prepared for that particular outcome. And if it doesn't happen, no harm, no foul, because if the breakout doesn't happen, I'm not going to be super heavy into Bitcoin, so who cares? Okay. What do you guys think about those charts? What do you guys think? What do you guys think of all those other big macro cycles that have come and gone, showing, you know, bouncing patterns that have failed? What do you guys think about that? Okay, someone says ETH, please. Informed, I believe I did ETH already. While you guys post some responses, I'll do some more charts. Did I look at XRP? I did look at XRP. Or did I? Maybe I didn't look at XRP. Maybe I just lied to you, Avenge. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to lie to you. So here's the thing with XRP. So XRP was in a very low, tight trading range. Very low, tight trading range. Broke up and broke right back into it. Very bearish action. Very bearish action. I would not get involved with XRP. Any position I had, I would have liquidated. In fact, believe it or not, hey, thank you, Mario. Thank you very much. Super chat. Thank you, sir. Believe it or not, I actually bought XRP right here, and I sold it right here. Yeah, I did that a little bit ago. So that wasn't too bad. But yeah, I would be getting out of it. Breaking back into the channel is not bullish. It is bearish. Okay, XMR. And you know, I haven't looked at Dash, but let's look at XMR. I traded a little bit ago for BitMEX. We'll look at it against Bitcoin. Then we'll look at it against the dollar. One thing with XMR, it's really hard to trade this thing. It's so difficult, especially against Bitcoin. Look at how choppy it is. Okay, especially against Bitcoin. So if you believe in Monero, just buy Monero and just hold it. This is definitely could be a long-term portfolio holding, but trading it, as you can see, is very, very, very difficult unless you're just Johnny on the spot with your entries. But it is sitting right near all-time highs. So see here against the dollar. Let's go back to the daily. Why am I on the 15-minute like an idiot? Come on. Okay, so I posted this on Twitter actually about Monero. There's a little bit of an inverted head and shoulders here with a goal of 520 based on that head and shoulders. And so far it's doing pretty good. But like I said, XMR likes to be a little choppy, so especially against Bitcoin. Especially against Bitcoin. But overall, I think it's pretty good. And then I'll look at Dash real quick. And Dash has a nice, interesting little pattern here. I also noted this on Twitter. If you guys don't follow me, my handle is Real Crypto Trade on Twitter. Someone has Real Crypto. If you know who they are, have them give it back. So Dash is very interesting here, forming a very tight sideways action, very similar to what a lot of the very leading coins are doing. Litecoin's doing this, Ethereum's doing this, Dash is doing this, Monero's breaking out. I mean, go Monero, privacy coin, probably all those trying to get around sanctions, and you know, Monero's the privacy coin, so all the drug kingpins are using it. And if they're not, they're stupid. They should be. Yeah, I think Dash long term is really good. I mean, it really is an excellent coin. Fundamentally, the company's really good. This could be good for a long-term hold, but technically there's no trades in the near future. Technically no trades in the near future. Canopy enjoys my content, but do I ever consider fundamentals? Do I ever consider fundamentals? I consider fundamentals. I actually always consider fundamentals. I never talk about them too much because in the crypto space, there's very little fundamentals. There's very little fundamentals in the crypto space. There's only a couple dozen coins that are actually what I consider kind of real businesses, if you will. There's very few coins that actually are like real legitimate companies that do things. So there's no fundamentals yet. There's really no fundamentals yet. The only one that really you can look at, well, there's more than one. There's Ethereum, there's Ripple, probably Stellar would be the other one. Those are like the only three that really have fundamentals. Everything else is very speculative. There's rumors about this and rumors about that, and there's updates and there's white papers and there's wallets, but none of that means anything. None of it means anything. So while I do take into consideration the quality of the coin, there's no actual fundamentals. I come from 15 years in the stock market. I know what fundamentals are. And when I invest in my stocks, so here's my stocks. Bam. Let's look at the companies I'm looking at right now. Chesapeake Oil. I'm looking at Chesapeake Oil. It's a big company in the oil space. It's had a hell of a route since the the oil bust, but it's a quality company. It isn't making money, but it's quality. VRNS, I forget what this does, to be quite frank with you, but it's a very quality company. Blackline, very quality company. Netflix, you know Netflix, quality company. Square, quality company. Twitter, quality company. Okay? I definitely look at quality. Definitely look at quality, but there's no fundamentals in cryptocurrencies. None. None. None that precede price action. Let me just say that. None that precede price action. There was one I wanted to talk about. Can you talk about how you would best set RSI, Bollinger Band, and MACD inputs for day trading and why? I cannot because I don't do that. I don't do that. I will look at RSI from time to time and look for divergences. Looks like I don't have it up here right now. But basically, I can show you, what was that? I was day trading a coin. Was it Bitcoin? Maybe it was Bitcoin. Let me see here. As far as setting up, I can't really talk much about setup. I don't really do a lot of that, but yeah, this is, I don't know why this is being weird. Oh, that's why. Okay, so here we go. So I was trading this head and shoulders pattern as a day trade, you know. Come on. I know no one can see that. I don't know why Coinigy makes the default on their like that, but so if you see here, there's a head and shoulders pattern. I was trading this to the downside. Actually shorted this right here. Shorted it right there, and reason being is because you see the incline in the price and the decline in the RSI. Okay, so the RSI is getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and I think I even had this on the 5-minute chart or something like that, but I don't have specific setups. I'll just kind of look for divergences coinciding with chart patterns. But I do very little day trading. All right, see some more current stuff going on here. Get this garbage off of my screen. There we go. Any long-term holds you recommend out of the newer coins? Not right now, Zia. I don't recommend any long-term holds out of some of the newer coins, to be quite frank with you. I don't have any for you. I'm sorry. Looks like Arthur's a pump and dumper. Looks like Arthur's a pump and dumper there. Didn't you? Okay, Neo Avenge, I did look at your XRP. All right, guys, going to cut the stream off here in a little bit. Ran a little late because I started a little late. So a couple more minutes, and then we're going to cut off of the stream here. So get your last minute questions in there. Nervously not sure should buy in Bitcoin after seeing all those charts, breaking up briefly, then took a dive. So Tina, yeah, it's really kind of interesting. You have to balance that with what you see on the chart. And it's very important. What can get you over that nervousness, Tina, is having proper trading rules and setting proper stop losses. Okay, that's really what can get you over that panic. You have to have proper rules while trading. You have to have a rule to get you in and a rule to get you out. And probably your best rule is a percentage stop loss rule, where you will get out of a coin no matter what if it's down X percent. And I recommend X being less than 10%. Okay, so couple last things here. Yeah, I'll finish off these questions. Do I have long-term positions in altcoins? I have an Ethereum and I have a Bitcoin hard wallet, and that's pretty much all I have in terms of long-term positions. I'm sorry, I have a paper wallet. I have paper wallets. Paper wallet. Good luck finding them. Okay. Oh, Arthur says he was making a joke of how Justin announces pumps. TRX, don't accuse me of pump and dump. All right, Arthur. Saw your comment. Just thought I'd put it out there for people. But if you're not going to do that with that hashtag, then more power to you. I didn't block you. Didn't block you. You weren't egregious. My top 5 coins long term. Well, long term is very relative. Long term is a very relative term. So I'll probably say Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Dash, and then the 5th one, Monero or Verge, probably for some privacy coins. Take a look at Nebel. Sure, let's look at some Nebel. Nebel. I am on the hourly chart. So Nebel reminds me of a coin, not a specific coin, but a type of coin that goes on to make massive, massive moves. That's all I'm going to say. It's not going to happen soon. I don't know when it's going to happen, to be quite frank with you. But when I've seen these kind of huge spikes to the upside, and then they retrace all the way back down, I saw that time and time again towards the third quarter of last year. You saw many coins that had this pattern, had huge moves. The problem with these coins is that you get excited on the spikes and you buy high, then you're stuck with deep losses. So I never trade these. I never trade these. If you want to take 1% of your account and put it in this and just let it hold until you get a 4 to 5 to 600% gain, that's perfectly fine. Okay, how long have I been in crypto? I actually got involved initially back in 2013. I traded Bitcoin just based off of strict chart patterns. I bought it at $255 and I sold it at like $1,000. I made a pretty good gain. And then I completely forgot about it until a buddy of mine told me about it in late September last year. So I've really been in cryptos about 7-8 months, which means I'm an ancient old man in cryptos. Quick look at Ven. I've already looked at Ven. I'll go ahead and take a look again. Oh yeah, Ven broke down from its pattern. It broke this 50-day moving average on high volume. Not a big fan of Ven here at all. And Jack says, Verge? Sorry, but that's a horrible project. Prices held by whales. Sounds like an opinion, Jack. All I know is that it's the second kind of privacy coin out there. And I'm a little biased. I've got a guy that's in my Slack chat room that holds a bunch of Verge. And anyway, he's a smart guy. And yeah, anyway, there you go. I don't think it's a bad coin. In terms of being held by whales, guess what? Every coin is held by whales. Every single coin is held by whales. And you say whale like it's a bad thing. Let me tell you something about whales. Now you got me going on a tirade because you used one word. Let me tell you something about whales. You would not have a market if it weren't for whales. You use that as a bad term. That is not a bad term. Whales hold up markets. Okay? In the stock market, we call them institutions. We call them institutions. And institutions are what we follow with price analysis. Okay? Tactical analysis is based off of institutional buying, at least in the stock market, which is why it doesn't completely correlate to the crypto space. But whales is what's a whale will push us above 12,000 in Bitcoin. Period. Period. So there you go. Okay. How's the trading course coming along? Chris asks. Oh man, slowly but surely. I've got like 140 lessons that I'm working on. And I have 2 that are close to completion. I think I'm going to roll them out as I finish them, strictly because it's just so much work involved. And I have a lot of stuff going on, so it's too slow. I got to be quite frank with you. It's just too damn slow. I've been trying to get them done since December, and it's just been a pain in the ass. Cardano, and then I'm going to get out of here. And Jack mentions that 70% is owned by a few people. That's fine. I just read an article that Vanguard owns 7% of the S&P 500. How's that for focused investing? So, not necessarily a bad thing. Corrupt, thank you, sir. $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh, ADA. Ugh. Makes me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit. Not a very happy chart. Not a very happy chart. I like ADA. I think it's a good coin. I think the project's good. Let me just say one thing about ADA. It is still in basically alpha phase. The fact that it hit like a $30 billion market cap is crazy, is very crazy. I don't mean that in a bad way, but definitely was overvalued. Sitting at a $7 billion market cap, it's probably still overvalued. I think based on kind of what's going on here, you probably could see Cardano with a sub $5 billion market cap, and it still be relatively valued normally. You got IOTA, which came out before, sitting at 5.2. I know a lot of people hate IOTA. I don't know exactly why, to be quite honest with you. I don't really know why, but probably because they've been losing money longer in IOTA than they have in Cardano. In crypto space, ladies and gentlemen, the value of a coin comes down to if you're profitable in it or not. That's really what I've come to appreciate about the crypto space. So there's kind of that. Corrupt, thank you very much, sir, for your donation to the cause. I appreciate that. Okay, what do you think came out of the eToro Stellar conference? No idea. I didn't even know about it, nor do I care about it, Ryan. Stellar's a good coin, but the price action is just garbage. Garbage price action. Garbage price action. Okay, what's Rimla saying here? I don't know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me. I'm going to call it a day. I appreciate all my super chatters and my donators. Thank you very much. It's nice to be appreciated here every once and again. But I'm going to call it a day. I will try to do more live streams more often. I don't do it as often as I should. You know what? I apologize for that. That's maybe a little bit of laziness on my part. But yeah, I'll try to do this more often. Thank you, guys. Have a good day, and I will see you next time.